Hi guys, in today's episode of Taylor Talks Trades, we have got Gary Faulds from Faulds Gas Services. He's telling us about his journey from stand-up comedian through to being a gas engineer. He's now brought his daughter into the industry as well and his future plans. I hope you enjoy. Right Gary, welcome to Taylor Talks Trades. I'm going to start where I always start, mate. How did you get into the trade?
Sympathy. Pure sympathy. I was a full-time comedian, as you know, and during COVID, there was no gigs, theatres were closed and stuff, so I was kind of looking at my options, and I put a post out, and I says, where does a 32-year-old guy go to college? Like, what kind of college courses can I do? Because I was ex-military, so I'd only really had my driving, and at the time, at the point of COVID, there wasn't many driving jobs going because all the guys had just been back to driving, because it was all the job that was kind of gone. And I put a post out on my comedy page just saying, do you know any decent courses you can do that will last during COVID? And this girl called Jackie Wilkie, who worked for Energy Technical Academy, she had messaged me and says, listen, like, we've got a gas course. I spoke to my boss, Tommy, and we'd love to get it for nothing. And I'm just like, that's one of the pure corrupt courses. Now, you always see, you always see gas courses get slaughtered online. Yep. And it's like, you're there at 10 years qualification, you don't get any cards or anything. So I looked into it and it turned out it was genuine. Yep. I went up and met Jackie and Tommy when the lockdown was like, you can start to go back out again, you can meet people. Like, so it was like, I was two in the full college, like 30 metres apart. Can I? All right, Tommy, I want to do my gas. But he was, they were excellent. But I got taught by a gas engineer for a distance. How scary is that? I would take me one of my customers. Like, my instructor was shouting at me fair there, but I went and met them. They were brilliant. They were just like, listen, we love your story. We love who you are. And obviously there was that element of like, I've got the big Facebook page. Yep. So it was like a deal. It was a gift for them. Yep. And it was taken as a gift, and I still think it was a gift. But also in their aspect, Tommy had no long opened ETA. Yep. So he's like, we're looking if you can come in, do the gas course and then post about it, about your journey. So he was trying to kind of market a wee bit in that as well. So I was I was homeless at the time, and I went to a scatter flat, so I got a wee flat. The gas came about, I got a wee house, so everything just came together really, really nicely. Brilliant. Then I started the gas course, and then Dougie, GIDS Gas Services. Dougie I'd put a post out, and I was like, they're looking for an engineer, I'll work for nothing. And so I read the memo you sent me, by the way. The memo with like 300 questions. I've got ADHD. I answered the first one, it was like your name, and then I was like, I'll answer it when I get there. So, but one of the things I seen was don't swear. So in my head I'm like, don't. Anyway, so Dougie's like,
loads of swearing on this.
So I put it. It does seem a memo, but keep it PC, right? Aye. PG, is it PC? PG, I think. PG, there, I'm getting mixed up. So Dougie had messaged, and Dougie was like, I'll give you a job. And he did. He actually gave me a job. He gave me a good wage. That's brilliant. So while I was doing the gas course, I was working with Dougie at GIDS. Yep. And Dougie's phenomenal. Like, I love Ideal. You probably noticed that. I'm always bragging on about Ideal. And Dougie was like, that's where I got it for. Like, Dougie was really, really good. And it was just nice because when I was doing my job, when I was learning the craft, Dougie would be like, you do it. So you know what I mean? Chance to learn. So see if I was ever like, I can't do this. And he'd be like, this is your line. What would you do if I wasn't here? Aye. And in my head, I'd be like, just go away. Take a picture of the front door and say it was a no-show. But it was great because Dougie taught me hunters. So when I had qualified and went out myself, it was great because I had learned off a really good engineer. Yep. And we're still pals to this day, which is nice. That's amazing. And then sort of, what was the transition then from like you going for the comedy stuff to that? Like, did you feel that was people taking you seriously with it or thinking? Not everybody was taking me serious. I don't think there was any points. It was funny because a lot of times, because pre-COVID I was at my top level. Yep. I had really, really peaked. So I was well known at that point. Yep. If I went to somebody's door and they didn't know I was coming, that was funny because it was like the old Daz advert when they opened the door and they're like, the guy started me a box of wash stuff. Aye. And they'd be like, Gary Faulds, and they'd be like, give me 2 minutes to shut the door and hear the Hoover gun, you know what I mean? Screaming at the waves, your room. But that was nice because that kept happening all the time. But when COVID had kind of no finish, but when COVID had died down and they were talking about the gigs, it was nice because I didn't want to do gigs like that. Yep. I didn't want to do gigs it was a pain in the arse because we had a massive tour on sale. Yep. So even when I was homeless, we had a tour that had generated about 130, 140 grand. And you don't get access to that because you need to do the gig and then you get the money. Yep. And the money's obviously, I get probably half of that. Yep. So it was mad knowing I had all that money sitting there. But the gas was nice because there wasn't a rush to sacrifice that and be like, right, you get away, cancel that tour.
Yeah.
So we just left that. My agent's like, so we just, I think it was when they started doing the gigs like to 100 people, 2 metres apart kind of thing. And what we did was we said, right, let's book the latest date we can get with the venues, which was November just there. So we booked that date, changed the whole tour to 2 years away, and then I just focused on the gas.
That's brilliant.
And it was great because it allowed me to learn my craft and get out and about and build my business. And even to this day, it's nice. The biggest thing since COVID is I came out the army and I didn't have anything. I went straight to the army for school. And even though the army taught me a lot of good values and a lot of good ethics and stuff, that how to work and how to deal with pressure, I didn't have anything physical that I could go and do as a job. Other than drive a lorry,
like
which there's nothing wrong with it.
Skill that, like,
there's nothing wrong with driving a lorry. I just have not got the mentality to sit in a truck for 4.5 hours at a time. And 4.5 hours back. But I didn't have a backup plan. And then when gas came, gas became my job. Gas, and then comedy's a backup plan. So it's funny how the two have turned. So comedy was my job before COVID. Now comedy's my hobby. And I absolutely love it because gas is the focus. My gas business is my focus. But it's been nice, but I love it. And
it looks as though you're like intertwining the two really well. It's not like you're like trying to separate it almost. Like, I know there'll be a bit where you maybe need to, but it looks like for the way you put yourself out there, it's like, it's still quite comedy driven. Like, I seen you showcasing like your hives installs the other day, and it's like, it's still funny, but it's actually, I was thinking, that's a really informative video. I think it was on LinkedIn you done the other day, and you're talking about the actual product and how good it is, and I'm going, that's quite good because it's
£200 supply and fit in a combi boiler. Mrs. Faulds Gas Services, I'd love to fit your hive, by the way. If you've got a start that doesn't work, just it's an ad. just a real ad.
That's it, man.
But it's good because you could, I think it's always easier to buy when you're laughing.
Totally, mate.
I hate when you see the doom and gloom. And it's also the good thing with comedy and gas is people know that I'm not going to bump them. Because I've got too much to lose. I think a lot of tradesmen come in and are like, oh, your boiler's broke, need a new boiler, and it's something that's like a £45 part. I'm not going to do that ethically, and I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to risk my comedy career. I've been called a scoundrel or anything like that. So you've got that aspect, and again, I learned that off a good guy, like Doogie's brilliant. So you learn that stuff off of the guy that's your tradie. Maybe if I out with somebody who was like, oh, it's broke, we need to, you'd be a different tradesman. But
if they were always going to that
I've been very lucky that I've learned that off of good people.
So was he the same? Did he always want to try and get a repair for somebody if they could, rather than just trying to...
Doogie's a guy like myself, like you probably get Doogie on, mate. Doogie's excellent. Doogie's kind of came up, he's never been in poverty, I think he's always had a good life, but he's just kind of built his own business. You know what I mean? He's brilliant, and he's like always. Like, I'm going through that point now where 1 week I'm mobbed, 1 week I'm dead. Doogie's came through all that, and he's got 3 vans on the road. So it's good to see somebody like that. He's like my mentor. So you're watching somebody like that and you're thinking, do you know what? Doogie can do it, like I can do it, kind of thing. So
that's brilliant.
He's a good guy, mate. But whoever teaches you, you learn for that, and that's what I've got. So I'm lucky.
And then now I see you're bringing your daughter. She's come into your business as well.
Megan's at 18 now, and so she's got 7 weeks left. She goes back and does her acts. So she qualifies the week I go on tour. So it's going to be literally, she qualifies, does her test, and gets the van keys, like, on you go.
There you go, run the show.
See you in October. My stepdad, he's doing it as well.
Brilliant.
So that's my daughter, my stepdad and me are all going through the course, but my stepdad, he'll go to British Gas or something like that, hopefully, because he's that kind of guy. But it's been good, mate. It's mental how...
And how's that? Is that just rubbed off on your daughter and that then? Has that just been one of these things where...
So Megan was a travel agent. She was she's only 16, she's 17 now, but she was 16 at the time and she was working as a travel agent. And she found her office very bitchy. And she didn't like the energy. So she kind of came away from it, and I said to her, do you know what? You're sitting about the house. Come out to me. Then we got on great, mate. So every day we go out, we get like a big lunch. Like you probably see it. Always we days go and just go and work somewhere and we find out in that area. I cover the Central Belt. So if I'm in Bathgate, I'm going to 1912. You know what I mean? I'll go to like the pure best of cafes and stuff. So it was fun. And I think she was like, oh, this isn't as like the way I thought it would be. Obviously we're still grafting. So she came out, she done the job, and she's amazing. Like, she's genuinely amazing. See if she can wire a hive in 23 minutes. I'm 47 minutes. Like, see if you show something once. She's so technical, but she wasn't the best at school.
I'm impressed that you time it as well.
Aye, but time it, I'm trying to beat it. Like, it's so bad.
Get 10 easy day.
But it's so competitive, man. Like, but she wasn't the best at school. School had kind of wrote her off. And I was like that. I wanted to do trades, but I wanted to be a scaffolder at school. But it's not like now. Well, it might be the same, but in my school, it was kind of the smart boys all went and done the CITB stuff.
Yep.
And then the daft ones, we all kind of went and done other stuff.
Aye.
But I wanted to be a scaffolder. My granddad was a scaffolder. And so that's why I joined the army, because there wasn't much else for me to do. But she was the same. So I could see myself in Megan, where she was like, the education system just wasn't for her.
Yep.
And it's like, I think the education system is very, very dated.
Yep.
And for certain kids, and she's like me, she's one of the kids that just couldn't thrive. But she came out of school with that mentality where she could never achieve a technical job, she could never do a trade or something that involved maths or anything. So when I got her into the van and we'd done a few weeks at work, she loved it.
That's brilliant.
And I'm just like, you're so good at this. So we got her into ETA and she's thriving.
Yep.
Like my mate's an instructor and he phones me, he's like, mate, that lassie is phenomenal.
Yep.
Like, so if she was basing her mentality on school mentality, she would never have done that.
Yep.
But physically doing the job and then going to college, she's doing amazing.
It's decent.
And she's doing amazing at maths, I know, because Gas has obviously got a lot of maths to do with it.
It's good. That's the thing I love about the trades. Like, I was similar, like what you're saying. I was like, I just couldn't concentrate at school. Wasn't really good at like many of the classes. Never got a maths exam result. All just things like that. But like, see when like I learnt roofing, it was like all you had to learn was the maths for roofing. And then when you started doing like estimating jobs for people, all you had to do was learn that bit. And see when you can, like, if you can use maths for what a gas engineer needs to do or whatever, it's much easier when you're trying to fix it on, rather than at school you've just got all this stuff coming from different angles and you're like, where am I ever going to use this? So I think like that's where the trades can be really beneficial, is like you got to focus into learning something specific and you only need to use the certain bits. Would you agree with that?
Definitely. I think there should maybe the system, hopefully the school system's changed now.
Yep.
That it should definitely change. There should be more access to trades, because the trades are dying.
Yep.
There's not enough people in trades, like,
Exactly.
and it's good for us that we've got businesses because we're always busy, but there's definitely a shortage of people that are coming through. And for me, as you say, like, school was just like, you're not smart enough, go and do something
The
different.
amount of people that's like probably been on this podcast, or any trades business owners that I speak to, or any guys in the trade, they always say, and I was probably similar, it's like, I probably should have just left school a couple of years earlier and started what I was doing, because I could have had 2 extra years to learn how to get into roofing or get into construction, whatever it would have been. So it does, to me sometimes, I'm not saying school's a waste of time by any means, but it's just no a straight line fixated way for everybody to learn the same way.
And there should be like some sort of test where there's kids. I'm practical. When I joined the army, I had that mentality like Megan, where I was like, oh, I'm not good enough at stuff, and I always found it really hard to have a bit of self-confidence. But where the military got me, the army got me, was the army found out what I was good at, and they just enhanced it.
That's good.
So I went for a wee guy that didn't believe in himself to join in a body of men and women who were like, felt like I could do anything. So there's no impossible. So the army mentality was amazing for me, and that's probably where they skipped me. When I joined the army, like, oh, you're brown at this, you're great at this, and this is your strength, and you go and work in that strength and play in your strengths.
That's good.
So that's how the military's good, but it would be good if school had a system like that. But if they seen a wee guy or a wee lassie who were maybe decent at practical stuff, but not the best at theory stuff, there must be a way. Because school's a labour market essentially, innit? So it is.
No, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. And see, in terms of as things move on, then I know that like your face is the brand basically. You were talking about maybe having the faces or
I'll always work. I'll never go back to full-time comedy. I'll always do Gas. Even on this tour, we've got a 36-day tour for June to October. I'm working Monday to Wednesday. Like I'll be on the tools. I'll be getting back for like Stornoway or Amsterdam and then straight out on the Monday.
Brilliant.
But that's the plan. So Megan's getting a van and I'll have a van. I'll give her service and repairs and I'll take on installs and like anything tricky.
And so like, what else is happening after that then? Have we got anything else
that's
in the pipeline?
Just the new, mate. We're just trying to nail the market now. I think this is where you get tested as a gas engineer.
You're talking about the kind of like that, like busy 1 week, doing the next week. Is it getting to a point where it's you're having to push more out there and put...
So we're sitting down, me and the Wayne, because she's involved in everything now, because I want her to be involved in everything, because one day it's going to be her company, and I would like that to be sooner than later. So my plan is to gear kind of 2 or 3 years under myself, and then just gear it, and just go, right, you crack on and I'll work for you kind of thing. Because I think that's important. I think generational stuff's important. I think with my dad. My dad had a business.
Yep.
He ran the business and then passed away.
Oh, really?
And then it was like, I got the business, and I was
Yep.
like, how do you run a business?
Aye.
So I would like to, while I'm still in my prime, and while
Yep.
the Wayne's in her prime, give her the business
That's brilliant.
and serve her
Aye.
and go under her.
It's all kind of starting to tie together now, like the way that you've brought her in while you're there and doing
That
it,
was
you're
a
alongside
big,
her. But
that
you're
was a
also...
big thing with COVID.
Aye.
Like, yeah. I mean, if anything happened to me, I would take for her to inherit this business and let it crumble, because
Yep.
she's like, I don't know how to run it, I don't know how
Aye.
to do this. So if I kind of teach her the ways
Yep.
and then serve her,
Yep.
I'll go under Megan and allow Megan to be the
Aye.
boss.
That's
Then
a
I
really
think
good
that'll be better
strategy,
for
mate.
her. Aye,
That's a
because
really
then I can just, if she's maybe, I can see it. I'll never jump in, but if I can see it going a bit left, I can be like, right, let's stop this.
It goes back to,
pull it
was it
back.
Douglas, sorry, that you...
Dougie, aye.
Dougie, sorry, it goes back to what Dougie done with you, like, where it was like, you were
Let
like,
me do the
what will I
job.
do if I'm stuck?
Aye.
And it's like, you can't run away, so it's like, just get on with it, and it's like, it looks as though you're able to do that with her as well, and then also, like you were saying, if she's got to get her own van and go and do her own stuff, it's like, she'll still be able to contact you, you'll still be there, but it's just kind of letting her go out and do her own
Well,
thing.
that's it. Like, some of the ideas, she comes up with, like, the Hive video was her idea.
Yep.
Like,
I thought that was brilliant,
she's
mate.
great,
I genuinely
mate.
did.
I
I'm
would
really laughing
never have
at
thought
it,
of
but-
that. So it's funny because I'm only 35.
Yep.
I'm not old, but the youth have always got better visions.
Aye.
Like, you see it, I go to church and you see it in church, like the youth leaders. The youth church looks amazing. You're like, why go in there with him, man? They're cracking flares open and all that. Like, we're all singing Kumbaya. Like, they're having a full-scale paint fight in church, you know what I mean? Like, I might be in that bit. So it's like that with Megan. But I'm like, let's make it her idea. Let's make it her baby and let her thrive.
Yep.
But I am looking forward to working for my daughter. She'll probably sack us in about 2 weeks, but we fight every day. Every day we have a fight. It's like our snack vans. I love a snack van. She hates a snack van. And I drive by, she likes to see a snack van. You're just like, it looks like the greasiest, dirtiest snack van I've ever seen. I want a roll out of that. Because that's my thing.
Aye.
The greasier, the better. Kind of thing. Like, the more chance of death, the nicer it's like. Eating a poison egg or something. I love that stuff. But she hates snack vans, and I'm like, that's what I'm trying to get in her. Like, you're a tradie now.
Yep.
You're no princess anymore. You need to get in the snack vans. We need to drinking bottles of Iron Brew, all right. You know what I mean? Like, but it's been funny. It's been a lot of funny stuff with the trades, and it's good because I can take that on tour with me.
Yep.
Like, I went to a job and it was an old woman, and she'd messaged my comedy page. So she's obviously just messaged me off the back of an ad or something.
Yep.
And she'd be like, she was about 80, right? I need a gas cooker. Sorry, a gas fire capped.
Yep.
Scottish Gas had come out and condemned it. So she wanted it out. So she wanted it capped under the flare and then pulled the fire out. She was going to, like, plaster it. So she messaged my page and says, listen, I'd like to get booked in. Books me in. I goes to the job, mate, and I'm not even kidding. See the hole in the flare, the catch space, right? It was like that. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, am I getting that? And she's standing right behind me. See the customers that just hang about you, they don't leave you, right? And I'm just like, I'm looking at it. And she's like, I don't think you'll fit in that hole, son. And I'm like, no, I can. So I'm in legs first. And I'm like, no, it's not getting in. But it's just stopping my belly because I've got a muffin top, right? And I'm like, right, and what you're only do in the trades, right, is you can't get in that way. If you go in head first, just gravity pushes your belly and you just slide in like a big slimy thing, right? So I'm in heat, so my phone's under the flare and I'm in the hole head first, right? My arse is hanging out and my whole, half my body's up to the bottom of my belly is in this hole. My phone's under the flare with me, right? And I can hear her tutting behind me. And then I get a ping on my phone, right? And I'm like, and I swipes up the phone and it's the wee woman's message, the comedy, my gas page. She's like, listen, this engineer can't fit down my hole. Could you not send somebody scarier? Oh, no. She doesn't know that I'm the boss and it's my company. So I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, no danger. I'm actually starting to like pure tear up and all that. And I'm like, this woman's called me fat man behind my back. Like, but she's been heavy nice to me in real life. So I unsqueezed myself for the hole and I'm like, listen, I'm going to go and phone them up and see if they've got any other skinnier engineers. The man drew away, blocked her. I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Oh no, oh no. Man.
I sent my pal a number and he went and done it, but he says when he had went to the job, she was like, oh, that wee boy was to be a bit chubby for that job, wasn't it? I'm just like, but stuff like that
sometimes
you can
that
take
older
in.
generation, they've just not got that filter.
They
It's
filter,
just
no.
like...
But she was brilliant, she was lovely in real life, but obviously on the phone, send a skinnier engineer like that. And I'm looking at it stuck in a hole in the flare, like.
Oh,
But she didn't want anything cut, see, because the fridge and that was there. So I would have just cut a bigger hole and redone it again, we would. But she's like, don't cut it, and so it was a loss. But
any other ones like that, any other cracking stories?
Not really, I don't think. I went to a brothel once. I went to a job, man. I got a message on Facebook. The guy's like, "Can I get a landlord safety?" And I went to the door, and the lassie opened the door, and she was like storing in nice underwear. And I'm like, look away. And she's like, "Oh, you here for the gas safety?" I says, "Aye." She went, "I've got a client coming half an hour. How long will you be?" And I went, "Are you a beautician?" She's like, "No, I'm a hooker." I was like, "Listen, I'm going to go, man. I don't want to be in the sun or anything." That's all I need, man. Coming out of brothel, my wee gas bag like that. Waving. But brilliant, stuff like that, I just madness. But I didn't see it, and obviously I was just like kind of at the door and boosted. But I don't do social housing. I think that's where most of the stories come from, like social housing and stuff. Like all my clients are normally people that know me or people that are my followers.
Yeah.
I've got in a lot of houses in my 40s, like I'm on a wall.
That's brilliant.
It's like me, not like me and the whole wall, but I mean, like, see, like I've got a collage, and Megan will be like, "Dad, look, there's you," and I'll be like, "I've been to a gig." So that's nice because the people that have built me in comedy are also building my gas. But again, the now we're just sitting down and being like, right, it's time to graft. Last summer I was on tour, so I didn't experience the quiet spell. So I went straight for a busy winter on gas, straight out and tour for comedy. So I didn't experience this, but now that I'm living in it and Megan's about, so I can't just down tools and go, right, I'll do comedy now.
So you need to find ways just to kind of drive it, mate.
So I'm meeting Dougie next week, so he'll give us a bit of advice, and he's brilliant that way, like he's really good to us. And but we'll sit down, and as you know, like gas is seasonal sometimes, unless somebody's got a broken boiler. If the heating goes off, that's the main issues.
Can be the same for us in roofing, like if it's really heavy rain and wind and snow, it's like people's phoning, but then so you see the big influx of calls coming in, and then it can be like what it's like now. It's quite nice weather, so it just kind of, you still get the calls if you're driving the market in and you're trying to do that, but it does stagnate a wee bit, and you're like, what happened to that big boot? And it is just sometimes you've just
terrifying, isn't it? It's absolutely terrifying.
It can be, and that's the thing. Like we've got probably a staff of about 35 now, and it's like we still suffer the same things. So don't think that you're doing anything wrong, mate. It just happens.
me, Megan, and
it just happens, mate. And I've seen it at every single level. So it's just like it's just keeping the faith. Like you're a good guy. You're putting your name out there. You're putting your face out there. You're doing good jobs for people. You're not trying to rip anybody off. So that work will just keep flowing. And I think as well, it's like yourself and Megan, like. These are likeable people. You're putting yourself on there on social media. People like that, so they're going to want to use you.
We love the job and all. Like, see, I think that's a big thing. Is like we really enjoy the job. Like servicing and see the stuff I don't like, I don't do it. I just don't do it. So like hanging rads and plumbing, like I pass that on to my pals. So what we do, we enjoy. So if we take a job off people, it's generally we're buzzing to be there. And I don't think you get many tradespeople like that. Like you will get a lot of people like that, but I mean in general, that people are like, I'll be back to service that. We get an ideal boiler, mate. Twos are high fiving before we walk in the house.
That's brilliant.
See me see the flue, and it's like an ideal. Twos are like, whoosh, like fist pumping on it, like buzzing, fighting to get in the door. And customers like, what's going on? Like I'm back to service it. Rock scissors paper outside the house to see who's getting to service it. But we love our job, but again, it's just. I think I don't know what you were like I don't know if you can do a one-man roof, but in the gas. So when I went to the Scottish Business Syndicate, that's what we call it, innit? Right, so when I went to that, I was talking to Craig at Quinergy, and Craig again, a great guy, like massive gas business, really, really helpful to chat to. And Craig was talking about having somebody to book jobs for me, because he's like, "What you struggling with?" And I was like, "Mate, at the time it was a winter spell, and I was just getting hammered." Like it was like the land of opportunity, but I couldn't get to the land because I had stuff that I had booked in, and I wouldn't cancel customers for new stuff, and I probably lost about 40 or 50 boilers that winter spell. I couldn't do boilers, and I'd be like, I can get you in for 2 weeks. People are like, no, I can't. I want it done now. Like with no heating, I've got 4 rains going in. So I think 40 or 50 is about the number that I lost, because we counted it up and went, right, we lost that, and it was like people like, Gary, we'll give you the job for a boiler. So that was like serious inquiries. And I said to Craig, I don't know what to do, mate. Like, I'm trying to deal with that. I'm on my own. I'm trying to teach Megan. And Craig's like, pay somebody to do your bookings for you. And we did that, and see the difference, mate. It's unbelievable.
That is a big
game
changer.
You know, because I was like, get up at 6 a.m, sitting for 2 hours, replying back, sending certs. And then after, I'd done a full shift, 12 hours, back in the house, absolutely gubbed, feeding the wains, and then back on the computer to 2 or 3 in the morning. So hard. I was burning myself out, but having that advice at the Scottish Business Syndicate of Craig, and it was like, it's brilliant, mate.
That is a good way to do it.
And it made a massive difference. But again, then you've got a wage and tap. So now the summers came, and we're probably generating £1,000 a week. It's like, it's tight.
Aye.
But
You'll
again,
do
a
it,
challenge, mate. I love
You'll
it.
do it, that's
I
it.
love
And like
mate.
you said, you love it. And I think that's, if you love doing the gas stuff, then like that doesn't mean, like, I think what can get misconstrued a lot of times is like when I was doing roofing, like I loved roofing, but then when I went into business, it was like you started doing all this admin, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, that was the stuff I maybe wasn't too great at. It was at school, like the writing and sitting filling things out, and then that's where you kind of do realise, right, might need to pass some of this stuff off to people that's better than you. You can do more of what you're good at, and I think certainly for you, like, you're the brand, like, you should be spending the bulk of your time
better
out
on
there
the
saying,
tools. Aye.
you should be spending the bulk of your time probably saying, look, here's what we're doing, come and cut, like, and been building everything around you to get people to, like, to bring that work in. Then you can probably afford, you've got more work again, you can afford then to bring people in to help with the admin side and that. But I think that's where it might be the seasonal thing as well, but for me, like, the growth with Taylor Roos, it's never stopped, because you hit them kind of highs, and then, like, when it does come back into the sort of the good weather again, and it's maybe not quite as busy, you're like, right, how do we change that? And then before you know it, you're just away growing, and it goes, and it does go
again.
like that. So it's a bit of a kind of non-stop journey, really.
The worst thing I've ever done was getting an account.
Yeah.
I've just MK Emergy, where I get my boilers, like, they're phenomenal, they're brilliant. But I was in there when I first kind of came back after my tour, and they're like, oh, do you want an account? And it was good at the time because I had an excess of money in the bank, so I could pay for it straight away. So I took an account out and ran it crazy. And then a few months ago, they're on the phone, they're like, right, when are you going to settle this account? So the last kind of few months, mate, I've been like doing extra. So we cleared that. We cleared that last week, and the business hasn't got any debt now. So that was a big life lesson in business, was like, there's a golden opportunity, don't take it all the time, and it's like that.
Yep.
Like, so that's been the biggest thing, probably. Like, so in the now we're just building, but it's hard to build when it's quiet. But that's the vision now, build up, and then the winter. Sorry, as I was saying, I mean, there's only one person, there's only so much you can do.
Yep.
But when Megan's qualified, she can take the frozen condies, she can take the repairs, and I could be back at the installs.
Yep.
Monday to Friday, and then if Dan's qualified, we can have Dan out as well. So, gas, there's only so much you can make as one person.
Yep. It's the same way, innit? And you can only spin so many
I don't know if
plates,
it's like that other trades, but especially now with like Jackie and Megan, like, because Megan gets paid, she's not, I don't get any funding for her whatsoever or anything like that.
I thought you were going to say it's not just the free lunches anymore.
But it's funny, like, even the now, like, right, McDonald's and like, even that's affecting us, kind of.
Aye.
But I think coming into this winter, it'll be juicy. Because the summer should be busy. People should be getting a boiler serviced in the summer.
Yep.
Because the heating circuit isn't getting moved. Nobody's got their heating on, and that's no good. So that's why when it comes to like October, we're mobbed. Because people have sat with their boilers off, literally, other than hot water. A hot water socket's different from the heating socket. So they've sat with their hot water off, and then they bang it on full pelt, and we start getting leaks. So people, hopefully it should be busy in the summer. I'm going, that's my agenda, to push.
It's probably
like
see like that video you were talking about you done the other day. That's the first one that I've seen you doing that was like kind of more towards.
Aye,
like,
that was Megan's. It was the back of my van, so it was.
Aye, so like I think like actually telling people that and saying like, look, this is the time to do it, and I'm not just saying that because we're quiet. It's like
that's what it seems
it's the
like.
middle of summer, but because it's the same in roofing, and I do try and tell people that, and it's like what we find is everybody waits till the winter, the bad weather comes round again, and they just get like, and then all of a sudden everybody's all busy, can't get to people, and you know it's really tough because they've got water coming in through their ceiling or something like that, or in through their roof. Same with you, it's like when you said there was like them 40 or 50 boilers you couldn't attend to, it was like, that's because like they're needing it like right now, but it's like it's trying to get people to be proactive rather than reactive, and it probably is just an educational thing to say to them, well, if you can do it this summer, you're not going to feel this pain in the winter. But some people just wait until it's too late, kind of thing, and then it's like.
That's what I've noticed this year, and obviously, money's tight.
Yep.
We're all struggling.
Yep.
Everybody's struggling, and last year, servicing. I love servicing. That's my favourite thing to do in gas. And it's like last year servicing. You're talking 5-6 a day.
Yeah.
Brilliant, man. Just nice, steady, easy. And this year, you seem to only get a service this year if there's a fault.
Yeah,
or if it's a warranty.
It makes sense.
You don't just get a service anymore. Before you would get servicing, but now people are obviously thinking, right, I'll leave it.
Aye.
And they'll leave a leak for 4 or 5 weeks, destroys a boiler.
And that's the worst thing they could do.
That's the worst thing you could do.
Aye, I honestly think you should put some like educational content out there. Because like your stuff's good to watch anyway. Like, so I think you actually coming for that angle and getting some education would be like really brilliant, to be honest. Hopefully that would get it to pick up a wee bit.
But next week's mobbed.
That's it, mate.
This week's deed, next
That's
week's
it.
mobbed.
I don't know if
That's
you've
what
seen any
it's
of the podcasts I put out recently, but I was on the Edinburgh Business Stories and on the Scottish Business Syndicate one, and I told a story on there where like I had 16 men, and it was like that same thing. It was like we were mobbed, it was busy, and then it just, like I was trying to do too much, I was trying to do everything, and then on the Monday, I was like, there's no work next week for the guys, and it wasn't that there was no work ever again, it was just we were basically in a minus 25 grand overdraft at the time, with 16 wages plus the office team and that to pay every week, and I was like, we can't afford to have 1 week with no work. And it was like, we got a job in over the weekend, that's what I was saying, we sent like 16 boys on it, like 8 of them went onto that job, and then 8 of them put flyers around doors and that, and like we got by it, but it's, it just, I think it's the same for everybody, it's peaks and troughs when you're in a seasonal business, so it's just trying to
See, that's what I lack, like I can't have flyers.
Yep.
Because you can only book me through Facebook.
Yep.
See, because I can't give my phone number out because of like.
Aye.
But I think if I would love Jackie to go full time, so I could have a phone and do that.
Would you just get hounded all the time if your number was out?
I done it. I tried it when I first went out.
Yep.
And people phone you like, big man, I'm trying to buy tickets to your Arbroath show, and that's fine.
Aye.
But it's like I'm trying to get my gas head on.
Aye.
So it was conflicting with the comedy stuff.
It's like if you had somebody in the office that it was like they phoned that number and they knew it was the person in the office, because people maybe phone a couple of times and then go, oh, you didn't actually get Gary, it's the office, and then maybe some of that would go away. No, that would make sense, because it is probably, that probably does restrict you in quite a lot of ways.
I can't put a flyer out.
Aye. So is that the only way somebody can get in touch with you now is just Facebook Messenger, basically?
Facebook or Instagram.
Like I'm not even really on Facebook. I've got the business page, but like I didn't really, I'm not actively on Facebook, so like that means I probably couldn't use you, do you know what I mean? So it's like, there's probably loads of people
that's
like
a big thing, like when comedy kicks back in, I'll put a fund for comedy. I've done that with this year. I'll put a fund for comedy into the gas.
Yep.
Maybe get a wee office and somebody full time.
Brilliant.
To help Jackie or somebody answer the phone.
Brilliant, mate. Well, thanks for that, mate. I appreciate it. Plenty of good stuff in there, and I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you, mate.
Good man. Brilliant.